All right, hey guys, this is Gabe and this is Realty on Wheels, and I just finished recording what I'm going to call part one of this video, and this one is part two, where I am going to actually elaborate a little bit more on questions that you should ask when relocating to Tennessee. So that being said, these are questions you should ask your agent if you're considering moving or relocating. For those of you who don't know, I create these videos in my car as I drive because I have not had enough studio time to get content out to you guys. So instead I've decided to go ahead and put these videos together. I hope it's valuable. If you find value in these videos, please subscribe to the page, give me a thumbs up on it, let me know you're good, and that way I will make it a point to continue to record these. So I talked in the previous video about, I think I gave about 3 or 4 questions to ask when relocating to Tennessee. And these are questions that you as a potential client should be asking your realtor, okay? So I'm going to start with some basic ones, okay? One of the most basic questions is, what does the market look like in your area? And I will say, to me personally, one of the things that I train my team on, I do not like for my team to say, well, it's a difficult market. Well, we all know it's a difficult market, but it's only a difficult market if you allow it to be a difficult market. We're getting people under contract within 30 days. Can we promise that? Absolutely not. I couldn't promise that even if it was a buyer's market. But we are getting people under contract within 30 days of starting the search. So I'm not going to sit there and say that it's a difficult market. I mean, yes, it's more work, but it's not difficult, and there's a big difference. But either way, so that's definitely one of the questions to ask is, what is the market like? Understand that agent's point of view. Understand where they see the market in their area. And every area is a little different. So that being said, definitely take the time to ask that question. That's, to me, I think one of the primary questions you should ask an agent. The second question you should ask an agent is, what is the lifestyle? What is the culture? And I mentioned this in the previous video. And again, the reason that I think that this question needs to be asked more so than it actually is asked is because I think that a lot of times we tend to just assume markets, and we tend to assume what people want and like and enjoy, and sometimes we're completely off. So ask that question. Hey, what do people do for fun there, right? What's the most common thing, right? Do people go to church on Sundays? Do people go to church on Saturdays? What's kind of what's the most popular type of religion? What is, do people like to go? Is there a lot of bars? How's the downtown area? So understanding the lifestyle, the culture, and that, it encompasses a lot, and there's a huge variety of information that comes with that, and that's a fairly long conversation. But just understand that you don't want to make this move more than once, not because it's impossible, but why? Why adapt? Why move yourself across the country to the other side? Let's say you're coming from California, you literally just transitioned yourself to a whole new culture, and then now you've been here for, let's say you've been in Tennessee for 6 months, and you're like, you're in Chattanooga, and you're like, this isn't for me. I want something a little bit more hyped up, and you end up in Nashville. Again, it's only a 2-hour move at that point, but why? Why not avoid that to begin with? So I would definitely say a big question, lifestyle, culture. So another question that I think is really important to ask when you're thinking about relocating is, what is the median home price? And again, we've talked about the market and how to ask an agent, what does the market look like? That's more of finding out what that agent's perspective is on the market. You're trying to figure out your agent, right? You're not trying to figure out the actual details of the market with that. You're just trying to figure out, where's your head at? You're trying to get information. What have you done, right? This question is more in regards to, okay, what is the average median price of a house? In other words, in in Chattanooga, we're in the 300 range. I believe it's like 360. I don't have the data right in front of me, but I believe it's about 360, 350. I think that's the average. So you sit there and you say, okay, 350. Okay, well, what does that look like? What does 350 get me in Chattanooga, right? Your budget could be 200. Your budget could be 500. It doesn't matter. The idea is, what do I get for my money in that area? And again, every area is different. In Knoxville, it's higher. Nashville is way higher. So, you're not, everything's not in, Memphis is lower, Johnson City is lower. So again, every market is different. So I would just suggest, like, hey, what does the average median get me in that market? And so the idea is for you to understand more and more how far your money can go, right? So that's another important question is, what is the average home sale price and what does that get me? So that's a really important one. Another really important question to ask is, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much would you consider ever moving or leaving the city you currently live in? So again, I say this because you're talking to an agent. For example, I personally have lived in the Chattanooga area for 13 years now. Okay, we moved there when my daughter was 3 months old. We now have 4 kids, and we wanted somewhere better to raise a family than where we were, which was South Florida. And we wanted something culturally that was a little bit slower and something that was a little bit more family oriented and whatnot. So we moved to Chattanooga. Well, that for us, I wouldn't leave Chattanooga. I'm also business-wise, it's ideal. I'm 2 hours from Atlanta. I'm 2 hours from Nashville. I'm 2 hours from Knoxville. I'm 3 hours and some change from Johnson City. I'm driving to my sister's right now over by Gulf Shores, Alabama. And I am 5 hours from her. So again, for me, it's an ideal location. I would never plan on leaving there unless it got super crazy. But that's my 2 cents. But understanding that from an agent's perspective as well. Some people have been like, hey, I've been in this area my whole life. I don't know any different. I would never leave. Okay, great. Oh, I don't know if I'd ever leave. I mean, if the population keeps growing or if we keep getting XYZ, then maybe I'll leave. I don't know. Again, that question is really important. This video is going a little bit longer than my normal. I usually try to stay under 8 minutes. I'm kind of go a little bit more just because I'm hoping to get as much information out there to you guys. So that being said, another good question I'm trying to think here to ask the agent. And again, you might have some as well that you're like, hey, why didn't you mention this? Well, I'm trying to give generic ones. But once again, there's a lot of things that maybe something that each person may be interested in. So another question to ask, and this is just a particular one to Tennessee, but pretty much anywhere in Tennessee, and it's, I think, a very important question is, so what does Tennessee look like in terms of the influx of people, right? So for example, we know a lot of people are relocating. That's well known. That's super obvious. Hold on. I missed my exit. And so now I'm having to exit elsewhere. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. This is what happens on Realty on Wheels. It's me actually driving places. And so sometimes I miss my exit. So that being said, so one of the questions is, what does the influx of people look like? Do you have a lot of folks that are moving into town? Are you seeing an overwhelming amount of people that are relocating to your area? For the most part, I think just about every city in Chattanooga is going to tell you yes. We see a huge influx of people from out of state. But again, another important question is, where are they coming from? So to give you an example, there are certain people that are moving within the state. So there are people who may live in Nashville that say, you know, Nashville's just getting way too big for me, and I'm not a fan of it. And so I actually don't care to stay here, so I'm moving to Knoxville. That's happening all over Tennessee, actually, in the big, amongst the big cities. But then you have, people that are coming into the big cities from Washington State, from California, from Chicago, New York. So there's a lot of people moving, and there's a lot of people that are going to be coming into town from other locations. And so again, it's really important to know that, and then also know, okay, what's going to influence that culture moving forward. That's the other reason that question is so important, because if you have a lot of people coming in from the West Coast, then yeah, it may be something that influences politics a little bit more from like the West Coast side of things, or it could be something that influences politics towards what it already is, and it's just people moving over. But again, that's kind of the mindset. The other mindset is ask about the politics, or the other question, better said, is ask about the politics. Now, you're not asking about the agent's opinion of politics. I don't ever talk, I talk to my clients about what I believe in sometimes, what my political structure looks like, but that's just because I want to see if we're a fit sometimes. And again, it just varies. It's rare that our political views are so far away that we can't work together, but it does happen, and that's okay. But you want to know what the politics are like in that particular area. So you want to know what that person, essentially what they say in terms of, is it a red state, is it a blue state, in terms of the actions of that city. I'm not talking about state as in the state. I'm talking about state of mind, right? Is it a blue state of mind or red state of mind? So I wanted to clarify that. So, again, some cities are more towards one, some cities are more towards another. The long and short of it is none of the same. So that being said, those are a few of the questions I can think of right now as I'm driving. I'll probably expound on this video again, maybe do a part 3 with more questions. But those are just some basic ones to get an idea. I mean, I think for the most part, but don't be afraid to ask your agent these questions. If you're relying on them to be an expert to help you find your home, then expect them to have answers to these questions, because we take a lot of time to know these questions and answer these questions, because we know that it's a big deal. If you're relocating somewhere that you've not really been too much, then you kind of need to know these things. So anyways, if you like this video, if it gave you good information and it was a fit for you, then please go ahead, subscribe to the page, give me a thumbs up on this one. Like I said, if you're interested in a part 3 with more information, I'll be more than happy to put it out there and give you more data on the particulars, and I can sit down with more information in front of me, maybe do a little bit more of a formal video if you're interested in that, and actually put together what are maybe do videos for each market. If you guys are interested in that, let me know. I'd be more than happy to give you the politics, to give you the culture, the lifestyle, the price points, all those questions that I just told you right now. I'll be more than happy to answer them in a video for each market in the Tennessee area that we work with, the major markets. So that being said, if you're interested in that, let me know, shoot me a comment, and like I said, I'll be more than happy to put that together for you, and we'll go from there. But thanks for watching this video. Again, this is Gabe with Realty on Wheels. If you're looking at relocating and you might not want to wait for the videos and you want those answers, my information is in the description. Feel free to reach out to me. If myself, someone on my team will be able to answer the call and touch base with you, and hopefully we can get you into something relatively quickly, or get you the answers to the questions you have. Thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.